If you're getting ready for your competitive exams, you absolutely know that international relations is a huge topic. Well, today, we're zeroing in on one of the most dynamic relationships out there, the India-UK partnership. We're going to go beyond the basic headlines to really break down the core agreements, the hard data, and the kind of strategic thinking that's shaping the future here. So, let's get right into it. So here's our game plan for today. We're going to start with the big picture strategic stuff, then we'll walk through all the key political, economic, and defense developments. We'll also take a really good look at the crucial role of the Indian diaspora, what they call the living bridge, before we wrap it all up with a super focused summary of everything you'll need to remember for your exams.
So, what's really at the heart of this modern partnership? It's really moved on from just being about old historical ties. Now it's all about a forward-looking strategic alignment. And this whole new era is pretty much defined by two absolutely critical documents that you have got to know.
Okay, for your exams, you've got to know the difference between these two. Just think of it this way. The Comprehensive Strategic Partnership, or CSP, is the what. It's the big promise, the high-level commitment to a much deeper, more connected relationship. Then you have the Roadmap 2030, and that's the how. It's the super detailed 10-year action plan that spells out exactly how we're going to get there.
Right, so with that foundation set, let's take a look at the political side of things. High-level meetings and constant engagement, those are really clear signs of a strong relationship. And as you're about to see on this timeline, there's been a steady, consistent drumbeat of interaction between India and the UK.
What's really telling here is just how steady this has all been. Look at it. Even with a major change of government in the UK, the momentum didn't even slow down. From launching the roadmap in 2021 to finalizing that huge free trade agreement in 2025 under a new prime minister, it's just so clear that this partnership is a massive priority for both countries, no matter who's in charge.
Okay, now we're getting to the real engine of this partnership, the economics and trade. You're going to want to pay close attention here, because the data points in this section are absolute gold for your exams. Let's dig into the numbers.
After 3 long years of really intense negotiations, here it is, the centerpiece, the India-UK Free Trade Agreement. And when we say this thing is comprehensive, we really mean it. It's got 26 chapters. This goes way beyond just cutting taxes on goods. We're talking about complex stuff like services, intellectual property rights, and even environmental standards. This is a total game changer for our economic relationship.
And just to put that FTA into perspective, just look at this number, £43 billion. That was the value of our total trade in 2024 alone. That's a massive figure that just goes to show how deeply connected our economies already were, even before this brand new agreement.
Now, this chart breaks down that £43 billion figure, and it shows something really crucial. India has a pretty significant trade surplus. We export £9 billion more to the UK than we import from them. For your exams, that is a key takeaway. It shows there's strong UK demand for Indian goods and services, and it puts India in a really good economic position.
And the story isn't just about trade, it's about investment too. The UK is the 6th largest investor in India, with a grand total of $35 billion. Now that kind of money doesn't just show up by accident, it shows a huge amount of confidence from the UK in India's long-term growth story.
So how is all this economic stuff coordinated? Well, it happens through these two key groups. You'll definitely want to remember these acronyms. You've got JETCO, the Joint Economic and Trade Committee. That's where commerce ministers get together to hash out the nitty-gritty of trade. And then there's the EFD, or Economic and Financial Dialogue. That's a high-level meeting led by the finance ministers to talk about the big-picture financial relationship.
All right, let's move from the economy over to security. This is another area where the partnership is getting deeper and fast. A really big focus here is on joint military exercises. These are so important for building trust and something called interoperability, which is just a fancy way of saying our forces can work together like a well-oiled machine.
This table gives you a really clear snapshot of the main military exercises. And notice, it's not just one branch of the military. We're talking deep cooperation across the Army, the Navy, and the Air Force. And these aren't just for show. Exercises like Ajaya Warrior and Konkan involve really complex simulations that build real, operational teamwork between our armed forces.
Okay, I know these names can be a bit tough to memorize for an exam, so we've put together a quick little trick to help you out. Just remember this. The Army is always Ajaya, which means invincible. The Navy, well, they protect the Konkan coast. And the Air Force warriors, they strike with a Cobra's Shakti, or power. That little phrase connects both of the air exercises. Hopefully that helps it stick in your brain.
Beyond the government and the military stuff, the real foundation of this whole relationship is the people. This is what's called the living bridge, and the stats we're about to look at really just drive home how incredibly powerful this connection truly is.
Just take that number in for a second. Almost 1.9 million people. This isn't just a diaspora community. It's a powerful, influential, and really deeply integrated part of modern British society. This is that human connection that holds up everything else we've been talking about.
And the economic impact of this community, it is absolutely staggering. Get this, a study of just 654 diaspora-owned businesses found their combined revenue was over £36 billion. They also created more than 174,000 jobs. That is a massive economic engine, and it's powered by the Indian diaspora.
And this living bridge isn't just something from the past. It's constantly being refreshed by the next generation. We've got around 170,000 Indian students in the UK right now, which makes us one of the largest international student populations there. Every single one of them is a future connection, a future idea, a future partnership waiting to happen.
And this focus on the next generation is actually formalized through programs like the Young Professionals Scheme. It's a really key part of the bigger migration and mobility partnership, and it's pretty straightforward. 3,000 young Indian graduates can go live and work in the UK for 2 years. And it works the other way around, too. It's just a fantastic way to build professional and cultural bridges from the ground up.
All right, let's bring this all together. This last section is basically your revision guide. We've pulled all the essential agreements, the key data points, and the important names that you're going to need for your exams. First up, the official agreements. Remember, it all kicks off with the Comprehensive Strategic Partnership and Roadmap 2030. Out of that flows the landmark Free Trade Agreement. And then, supporting that living bridge, you've got the Migration and Mobility Partnership, the Young Professionals Scheme, and that really important agreement on the mutual recognition of academic qualifications. The dates here are good context, so you might want to make a note of those.
Next up, the numbers you've got to have memorized. The big one for trade is £43 billion, with India holding a surplus. For investment, the UK is our 6th largest partner. On the living bridge, remember the diaspora is over 1.8 million strong. There are about 170,000 students, and that YPS scheme offers 3,000 visas a year. Having these facts right at your fingertips will make your answers so much stronger. And finally, the key names and structures. The current leaders you need to know are Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer. The main economic forums are JETCO for trade and EFD for finance. And of course, those military exercises, Ajaya Warrior for the Army, Concon for the Navy, and Cobra Warrior for the Air Force.
So, the main thing to take away from all this is that the India-UK relationship has fundamentally changed. It's not just about history anymore. It's strategic, it's comprehensive, and it's powered by that incredible living bridge. All the pieces are there: the agreements, the investment, the political will. So the question we'll leave you with is this: what's the next big milestone? What's going to be the next major breakthrough in this partnership?